Good morning, P10's Daily Show. Happy Monday morning. Hope your Monday is off to a good start. I am not Guillermo. Guillermo is taking a little break this week. My name is Alan. I'll be your host today. COO of ICE, faculty member in our fitness athlete division, here to take a question on Monday, what was used to be formerly Q&A Monday. Before we get started, don't forget about Gut Check Thursday. Don't forget about Hump Day Hustling if you're not signed up for Hump Day Hustling, our weekly newsletter that comes out on Wednesday mornings. And then don't forget about all of our wonderful courses going on online and live at ptnice.com. Some quick ones coming up. Fitness Athlete Essential Foundations with myself and Mitch is coming up July 6th. Modern Management of the Older Adult with Dustin and Christina is coming up next Wednesday, July 8th. And then we have some live courses the weekend after 4th of July. We have Total Spine Thrust in Santa Barbara, California with Justin Dunaway, and then Jeff will be in Nebraska for lumbar spine management. So check those courses out. Check everything else out going on at ptnice.com. Click courses, click Hump Day Hustling, click resources for all of our free resources in Con Ed that are all up on our website. So today's question came a couple weeks ago from Sarah Grace on Instagram asking about hydration, asking how do we know if someone is hydrated, too dehydrated? How much water should we be aiming to drink a day? Does that change if somebody's active? Does that change if somebody is less active? What's up with hydration? So a couple different points to tackle here. The first thing is there's kind of two sides of a continuum here, two very far extreme sides of a continuum, which is the first is the Tim Noakes only drink when you're thirsty. Your thirst signal is the signal that's the liquid you need to drink, and don't drink if you're not thirsty. The other far side of that continuum is the Gatorade, always be hydrated side of the continuum. Basically always be slamming liquids, and you can never be too hydrated. If you do anything, have yourself a Gatorade, and just to be kind of drinking all day long, even when you're not thirsty, and kind of this idea behind trying to prehydrate and things like that. So two far sides of one continuum. So where is kind of the truth? It's probably somewhere in the middle. So obviously Gatorade has a vested interest in you drinking a Gatorade every hour, drinking something every single time that you do an activity, and that's probably too far extreme. Trying to drink half a gallon, over a gallon of liquid a day, especially if you're not highly active or sweating, is probably too much. On the other end, we know we can run into trouble. Certainly thirst is our mechanism to tell us that we need liquid, but things like air conditioning really mess that up. If you're sitting inside in the air conditioning all day, you're not sweating. Your body is 100% temperature regulated, and that can kind of mess with those mechanisms where if you sit in the air conditioning all morning and then go for a run in the afternoon heat, you can really hit a wall and immediately recognize that you probably didn't drink enough liquid, but your thirst mechanism was suppressed. So two sides of that same continuum. It's probably somewhere in the middle. I always recommend people aim for at least 64 ounces of liquid a day, and I count pretty much all liquid as liquid, right? Everything we drink has some amount of water in it. We know that some liquids are going to be more diuretic than others, but to say that this 12 ounce cup of coffee, I don't count that liquid because it's not 100% pure water, is simply not the case. Anything you drink with liquid throughout the day, as long as it's not super highly caffeinated, is going to be retained by your body, and you should count that as liquid ounces for the day. So when we count that, we see it becomes much more realistic to hit a goal of 64 ounces or even 128 ounces if we're counting our 12 ounce cups of coffee or tea or whatever plus water. We know that we don't really need things like Gatorade and these kind of high carb electrolyte beverages. For the most part, most of us are not doing events that are intense enough or long enough to warrant that. Certainly those of you who may be running marathons or doing long bike rides, especially in the heat, then we kind of get in the realm where one of those may be warranted. But if you are somebody that is just running a few miles, biking a few miles, going to the gym for an hour a day, then you simply don't need to be pounding, 64-ounce Gatorades with a bunch of sugar. You're not really depleting your muscle glycogen enough to need that, and you're certainly probably not depleting your body volume, your water volume enough to need that. So stay away from those. The problem we get into those is especially in our youth athletes. If you're somebody that works with pediatric or youth athletes or even teen athletes, Gatorade has kind of thoroughly brainwashed that demographic to think that any sort of activity I do warrants a Gatorade, and it's really, when you look at those, they're really no different than a soda or a pop or whatever you might call it. It's a bunch of sugar in water, which is really no different than a Coke or a Pepsi. And again, if it comes back to what activity are we doing, it really doesn't warrant, for the most part, any sort of replenishment of high carb like that or high water. It's simply not working hard enough to kind of need that. And what I always tell my patients and athletes, at the end of the day, fall back on just kind of looking at the color of your urine when we look at hydration, and tracking how much liquid, again, all liquid you've consumed for the day, to kind of get you to that point. If your urine is really moderate yellow or even darker yellow, we know we're probably a little bit dehydrated. But on the other side of that token, if it's crystal clear all the time, that's not necessarily good either, right? That's kind of a sign of overhydration. Maybe we're pounding too much liquid and we need to back off a little bit. And just keeping track of how much liquid did I have to get to that point where either I decided I'm probably a little bit too dehydrated or a little bit too overhydrated. Was that 64 ounces? Was that 80 ounces? Was that 90 ounces? Everybody's going to be a little bit different. Obviously, body size is going to have a lot to play in that, so everybody's going to be a little bit different. It's important to know, how did we get to that mark? And that should let you know how much liquid do I need in a day. The other thing is to not overcorrect there, not to course correct too hard. If you do find yourself saying, I think I'm a little bit dehydrated, to then not think again that warrants going out and buying, that half-gallon Gatorade at the gas station and slamming that, but maybe just to have a glass of water. I think getting ahead of hydration is very important, especially if you know you're somebody that's going to be going into a climate-controlled building in the air conditioning in the summer, and then need to go to the gym or go for a run in the afternoon when it's hot, and you don't want to be that person that hits that wall and is underhydrated when you need it during physical activity. And just staying ahead of hydration, the thing I tell folks is, when you wake up in the morning, drink a glass of water. That's a good start to the day. You've got 16 ounces in the tank. No matter what happens, you get to work, whatever happens, you can't get a hold of water, or you find yourself in a climate-controlled environment where you don't feel thirsty, you don't feel the need to drink. At least you've got at least 16 ounces in the tank, and you know that throughout the day you're probably going to have some water at lunch, you're going to have some coffee, and you're probably going to make your way naturally towards that 64-ounce mark. So when you wake up in the morning, this is something I do: slam a glass of water right away. I usually then have some coffee or an energy drink, and I'm usually 32 ounces or so into the day early in the morning, and just don't feel as compelled to play catch up throughout the day. There's a lot of different strategies to get your water in. People like those bottles that have, the markings down the side that you have to drink this amount by 1 p.m., this amount by 2 p.m. I think that's great if you are in an office building or something like that, where you have ready to access water there, and you can be drinking throughout the day. Not everyone can do that. Obviously, maybe they're out on a job site or something like that. They don't have quick access to water or the ability to sit down every hour on the hour and drink it. But that's kind of when I fall back on telling those people, just rely on the thirst mechanism. There's a myth that if you're thirsty, it's too late, which is just really stupid, right? We don't say that about food. We don't say, well, if you're hungry, it's already too late to eat anything. No, if you're hungry, you eat some food. If you're feeling lightheaded or something, you eat some food. It should be no different with drinking. If you're thirsty, drink until you don't feel thirsty anymore. And if you have that patient or client who is out, working outside or on the job site or something, then that is a good case to kind of just drink when thirsty and make sure that you have ready access to water. But key points there: don't fall on either side of kind of that harsh continuum where you always need to be hydrating or only drink when thirsty and try to avoid overhydration. Neither of those are probably correct. It's probably somewhere in the middle. Aiming for 64 to 120 ounces of water, but also monitoring your urine and finding out how much liquid got me to that point, and then counting all liquid towards that measurement, counting coffees and teas and waters and all sorts of things. If you're somebody that drinks a Diet Coke or a LaCroix or something like that, again, counting that liquid in that calculation and not discounting it just because it's not 100% pure water. Your body is still going to use that water. And then finding how much water got me to the point where my hydration is okay, where my urine is maybe a light yellow, trending towards clear. You know that you're probably well hydrated. How much water, how much liquid did it take me to get to that point? That's probably a good daily goal to set. And again, just recognizing environment is going to change a lot how much we need. If you are obviously inside in the air conditioning all day on a hot summer day, you're naturally not going to be thirsty, you're not going to need as much water, and that's okay. Versus if you're outside all day, if it's humid, you are probably going to be moving through a lot more liquid than you normally are, and that's okay too. It warrants that situation. And then just staying away from high carb beverages like Gatorades, unless you are an ultra endurance type of person, unless you are outside all day in the heat, sweating a lot. That's when those things are warranted. They're not warranted after a 30-minute trip to the gym or a 3-mile jog or anything like that, especially in our kids, our pediatrics and youth. That's a big source of early onset diabetes and obesity is kids just pounding Gatorades all day long after an hour of soccer practice or something like that. So getting people away from that and recognizing that's really only needed in situations where we have lost a lot of body water or depleted all of our muscle glycogen, which is those long endurance events, very strenuous stuff, especially added together when you're out in the heat or humidity where you're having trouble cooling your body down because of the environment outside. So I hope that helps. It can be a topic that's not discussed a lot. I don't think we ever discussed hydration too much in school. I had an entire class on hydration in undergrad, which was really interesting about water as a supplement, water as an ergogenic aid. So it was really interesting to see all the research and kind of different changes in scientific approach to hydration over the past 50 years or so. That was an interesting class. But keep it simple, drink to thirst, aim for 64 to 120 ounces a day. If you have somebody who just must know how much they need, have them track and compare that to their urine color. And when in doubt, just drink to thirst, but don't feel the need to hit that liquid goal all the time or hit some arbitrary goal. I've had some patients come in and say, I've been told to drink 150 or drink my body weight in ounces per day, which would be insane. That would be 200 ounces for me. That's an uncomfortable amount of liquid to drink. So that's some good practical stuff to give to your patients and athletes and clients. So I hope that helps. Hope you all have a wonderful Monday. I hope you have a great start to the week. We'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.